Welcome back to the Geek Show. So now we're on to part 2. We're going to have a general Scream chat.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I think we should discuss just the concept of Scream is it is self-aware of what it is. It's not just a horror film where it's just you're yelling at the audience going, not the audience, you're the audience, yelling at the screen going, are you stupid? How do you not know to not do that because you're going to kill blah, blah,
they
blah.
had the opening scene of Scream 2 where they're obviously watching the cinema.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to watch because it's almost the exact same critiques like I think most people normally have when they're watching horror movies in general is, don't go in there, run away now.
Yeah, whereas this is so self-aware. Like, the characters are all aware of the horror tropes.
In fact, they love the horror tropes is what I'm getting from the whole thing. Especially from Scream 2.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of like talk about horror movies in general. I also love how these movies don't make up ridiculously fake horror movie titles.
No.
They just go and reference what we know and it makes it feel more real.
Yeah, it references known horror films or the time that it came out, or the film came out, because obviously, for example, in the first one, they're watching Halloween.
Yeah.
And then you have Randy Meeks' 3 rules how to survive a horror movie.
Yes.
Which is, do you remember them? Because I do.
Right. Don't answer the phone.
No.
No, it's not. Don't look out. Don't go outside.
No.
Don't go to the woods.
No.
Oh my god, I'm doing rubbish at
Do you know they are?
Just tell them.
Don't have sex. Don't drink or do drugs, and don't ever say you'll be right back because you won't be back.
Oh, that's
Thank you very much.
That is some very good rules for how to survive a horror movie. I personally probably still would die. Probably like the first one's there. You know, I'd like to think I'd go out with a heroic death, but I'm pretty sure it'd be something very, very wimpy.
I don't know if I would survive a horror movie.
Psychologically, probably not.
No, I'd probably end up just crying in a corner, to be honest.
We are not built for horror movies. We're more of an observer.
But yeah, so like I said, you know, you get well, I think the character of Randy, especially in the first 2, is the audience as a person, because think about it. For example, like he's the one that says about the sequels being elevated horror, even in the third one, because unfortunately Randy dies in the second one. Still not over that.
I know,
it's one of
it's
my favourites.
a horrific death.
But in the third one, he has like that video he leaves before he dies. So then talks about the trilogies.
Yeah.
It's so self-aware.
Yeah, you can tell the screenwriters themselves love.
Oh yeah, and you also have the video store scene.
Yeah.
So like if they watch Prom Night, they'd know what to do, like what to avoid. Like I've seen the first one a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's quite nice, especially for Scream 4. This is the one that I've obviously most recently watched.
Yeah.
Not less than 3 hours ago. So obviously with the opening, I actually love that concept of obviously the first 2 openings almost being like red herrings themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was kind of going, wait, there's been 6 Scream movies or Stab movies out in this universe. Like where are the others? And I kind of sitting there going, am I missing a part of the puzzle here? Like,
that's the thing what I also love is the fact they have the Stab franchise, which is the films in the films about Sidney Prescott in life, but then it ends after third one, then it goes it veers off, because I think in Scream 5 they're up at Stab 8, I think it is. Yeah, no,
you kind of get the feeling that Stab is almost like the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, because apparently there's like one that's about time, because obviously we never get to see these Stab films really. We see like maybe
the openings, obviously.
The openings of them, but I think it's like they reference that one's about time travel, so that they end up going insane in the films. Kind of like a lot of horror franchises that get dragged out, which is quite well done.
I mean, I think obviously with Scream 3 we also had the whole idea of it being set on the movie set and getting to meet the actors, and I wonder for themselves, this is the screenwriters making jabs at any particular actors or actresses they've met in the past that don't really want to be part of the horror franchise, or also the director, you know, the studio. I love that whole, I feel like sometimes the screenwriters are laughing along with the audience almost, especially with some of the action scenes, you know, some really mad running down the corridor. They don't take themselves too seriously, which is what I love about it, because I think sometimes horror movies can be a bit too, this is very serious, almost Shakespearean. That's sometimes the vibe I get from some of them, especially nowadays, where they want every horror movie to have a different message, and, you know, it can get a bit tiring. I mean,
and the message behind a lot of them is just kind of
very generic.
Yeah.
Man was a real monster all along. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We already knew that, thank you.
So I think another thing that's good about the Scream franchise is all the films are fresh, and they're all just as...
Yeah.
I mean, there's some that are better than others, but there's no bad Scream film.
I mean, I feel like I was a bit worried about how repetitive the Scream movies would get. And I was surprisingly happy to find out that there wasn't that many. It wasn't didn't get stale. Was what I'm getting the feeling of. And of course there was the old, the beats. One of the cops has got to definitely. Does one of the cops die in Scream 3? That's kind of almost a red herring in itself. Well, one of the police always ends up getting somewhat brutally hurt.
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, because the car scene in Scream 2, that was a really good scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously then you've also got the red herring, which, for Scream you're like, you've got to identify not only the killers but the red herring.
It's not going to be, yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course you think you're so smart because you figured it out, and then the writers are like, nope, that was the red herring all along.
Yeah, I didn't know who the killers were in any of them, and it kind of threw me. The one that especially threw me was Scream 3, just having one killer.
Yeah.
Because originally it was going to have two. That was going to be the character of Angelina, was going to be the second Ghostface, but they decided at the end to not make her Ghostface, so that's how sometimes it kind of feels like the one Ghostface that we have teleports.
Yeah.
Especially the scene where, Cindy gets chased through, the set of the house.
Yeah.
That's why it feels like the Ghostface is kind of like, wait, but you were, on the ground floor, how are you suddenly there? It's because they filmed that with the intention of still having the two.
But I also feel like if they had stuck with Angelina being, the Ghostface, yes, it makes sense logistically, but would it be a great message to send out this girl who I would say, honestly, has kind of been abused by Hollywood, almost? She's kind of similar to Sydney's mum.
Yeah, but then that might make sense why she would be the Ghostface.
Yeah, but does not mean that the victim then becomes... I don't know. I don't think it'd be a great message to have, personally, that this girl who's probably been sexually abused in some way then, is the bad guy all along or something. I loved all the movies. I loved all the twists. I don't think there's anything I'm sat there going, well, that's dumb.
Yeah, because even though it's poor Sydney getting caught up with these ghost
Sydney,
faces,
the person with the worst luck in the whole world.
I know. It makes sense because it's always somebody that's tied to her. Yeah.
Which maybe kind of is worse than killing Sydney off, actually, because she just kind of keeps on living while all her friends die.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of an interesting one because she's not really got many people left by the end of them all.
Yeah, poor Sydney.
She kind of she makes new friends. Oh, they're dead by the end of it. It's kind of like, oh my gosh.
Oh, Sydney.
She can't trust her friends because the killer's always somebody she knows. Apart from the third one.
Kind of the second one is... Well, no, actually, no.
No, the second one, one of the killers, yeah. But the third one, she hadn't actually ever met him until that scene where he reveals himself. They never cross paths.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, did I know that? All the other characters cross paths them, but not Sydney until that part.
I mean, I also love how you've got the switching up of the surrounding cast, but the main three tend to stay the same, which is nice,
Yeah.
It's a similar face. You're like, when's Sydney going to get here? Oh, Sydney is here now. Sydney is looking very worried about something.
Yeah, you're waiting for the main three to... Well, it was 4 until Scream 2. To turn up and go, oh,
Hashtag
right.
Randy should definitely have been there.
He should have lived, and I will stand by that. It just made no sense, his death, because he's the horror nerd, he is the one that knows all the tropes, and yet he stands with his back to a van that he can easily get grabbed by and, stabbed.
Also mocking the killer.
Yeah, but that was quite an iconic thing, though. That was iconic.
That's true, I suppose. Anyway, just before we wrap up this section, I love how the Scream thing is almost celebrating the iconic eras that it's kind of set in. It doesn't pretend to be in the past or the future, if you know what I mean.
No, it's set in its time scale.
Yeah, they kind of almost... And they don't make the actresses look younger than they need to be.
No, I mean, the first... they're obviously... In the first one, they're meant to be, school kids, the majority of the cast. And they do look a bit older than that, but it kind of works, I guess, in a way. And then after that, they're college, and then after that, it's just they're all adults.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, though, that college and that school have the worst security I think I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
They got the press crawling all over it. Come on.
I know.
Imagine if GCU was that bad at security. Shout out to
Nobody get any ideas.
Shout out to our security team.
I'll just hide the Ghostface costume receipt under the table.
Yeah, anyway, so I think that's us kind of wrapped up that
section. We'll wrap up that section, and the next one we're going to talk about the characters and the ghost faces themselves. So this is Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult.